Before I bring in Jeff Fisher, let me tell you why we're having Jeff on. This was on Pro Football Talk. Mike Florio posted this. It's long been believed the Rams used a late draft pick 2 years ago on defensive end Michael Sam at the behest of the league office. Longtime NFL reporter Howard Balzer, who has focused his attention in recent years on the Rams, reports that the arrangement had a quid pro quo. Balzer cites multiple unnamed sources in support of the notion that in exchange for the Rams drafting Michael Sam, the league office agreed not to compel the Rams to serve as the focus of Hard Knocks in 2014. Let's bring in Jeff Fisher now. Jeff, good morning. Thanks for joining us on short notice. We talked about this a couple of years ago, May of 2014, when I asked you if the league had asked you guys, and you said no. Is Howard Balzer wrong with this report?
Yes, he is, Dan. I appreciate the opportunity. Just as we talked back in, post-draft then, our draft room is our draft room. It's intimate. Nobody's going to have any kind of influence on us whatsoever. We're going to do what we think is the best in the interest of the organization. And at that point, Michael was the best guy on our board. And we want to give Michael a chance, just like anybody else that we draft in the later rounds. So there was nothing then, and there's nothing now. And I'm just really taken back by the reports that we drafted him, hoping that we were not going to be on Hard Knocks. I mean, that no professional in our business would give up a draft choice with that intention. That's just bad football, and that was never discussed. And it's incorrect. And as I mentioned earlier, it's unfortunate. Michael worked really hard. This takes away from, I think, the opportunity that Mike got, because people are implying that, well, there were motivations and reason behind it, and there were not. It was very simple. We drafted him because he was the best player on the board. As far as the Hard Knocks thing is concerned, we're obviously, it was reported yesterday that we're gonna be the team that's going to be highlighted this year, and we're really excited about it. We get to document which we think is historical, and that's our move. We get to be a part of some great storylines as we move through camp. And I've talked to many coaches, and it's not a distraction; it's a very professional situation out there, and it's not intrusive, and so we're actually looking forward to the opportunity and to the end result as far as the product's concerned.
Why do you think this keeps surfacing? I'm even seeing Howard Balzer tweeted, sources say the NFL agreed not to have the Rams on Hard Knocks in 2014 if they drafted Michael Sam. Michael Sam then responded saying, quote, "I'm not surprised at all." What do you make of that?
I don't know. I don't know why it keeps coming up. I mean, Hard Knocks are going to at least make their decision. Clubs, just for the listeners, clubs don't really have any say. If you've been in the playoffs, in the last 5 years or whatever, the rules that were established with respect to Hard Knocks, then Hard Knocks and the league are going to make the decision, and clubs will comply. So at no point throughout the process, prior to, from post-draft in 14, we drafted Michael prior to camp, was there any discussion as far as Hard Knocks is concerned?
But you told me in 2014 you did not want to do Hard Knocks.
At that point where our football team was, my preference was not to do it. We had a young football team. We had a quarterback situation, state of flux, and I just felt where we were from a youth standpoint, it was probably better off for our team, and from the standpoint of having a training camp that was productive, that we did not get involved in that. Times are changed. I've got a more mature football team. We're going out to L.A. I think Hard Knocks, the whole procedure, the whole operation has gotten better year after year after year. We've spoken with them since the combine and finalized things here, just a couple of days ago, and we're excited about it.
Have you talked to Howard Balzer?
I have not, no.
What would you say to him?
there's no need for me to talk to Howard. I have respect for Howard. As you mentioned, Howard does. He has made his home in St. Louis. Obviously, we're no longer here. I have respect for what he does, respect for his professionalism. On Sirius Radio and the show he does. I think he's well informed, but I just would say that this is incorrect.
A couple other things. I know you were on the competition committee, but, man, that was a busy day yesterday with the NFL. We just had Sean Payton on. He thinks we could have more kickoff returns, and he says there's maybe more placement kicks that'll happen inside the 5. And he also talked about the personal fouls, the conduct there. He said you might have guys who have a foul or two to give, and you might see something late in the game. So he said you could see some negatives here. Where do you stand on those two particular topics?
Dan, I was not in the meetings this year, so I can tell you this. The committee spends a lot of time discussing the what-ifs and the unintended consequences. And so, it's been my experience over the years that and nothing against Sean, and he's all entitled to his opinion. But, when you don't have all the information, sometimes it's easy to second-guess some of these things. I'll first talk about the kickoff and the touchback. What we're seeing now is we're seeing players bringing the kickoffs out from 9 yards deep. And I think the committee's perspective on that was, well, if we bring the touchback, if we keep them in, bring the touchback out to 25, then perhaps we'll reduce the number of kickoffs. Now, there's always that chance that you're going to get kickers, and it's happened recently since we moved, where you're going to get the blue kicks and you get these things to try to pin people down. We understand that. I think one of the best things that the committee did with respect to this rule is they voted in for 1 year, so they can look. We can look at the statistics and compare them to the last couple of years. As far as the other things concerned, the ejection after 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, I think it's important to point out that these are not personal fouls. These are not low hits on quarterbacks or, flagrant face masks, and those kind of things have something to do with the play. The league has been addressing sportsmanship for a number of years through a point of emphasis, and I feel like it was the committee and the league's opportunity to put some teeth in this rule. And I think if a player knows that if he has the potential for being tossed, then the taunting's going to be reduced, the sportsmanship's going to increase, and we're going to get a game that we need. We've had too many instances over the last few years where, and not instances where players necessarily would have been ejected for a second violation, but just too many things that have taken place on the field of play that we need to eliminate. And I think, I'm not speaking for the committee, but I think that's the committee's perspective.
What Ram uniforms are you going to have in Los Angeles? Have they decided?
Have not decided. It looks like, if I'm sure the uniforms are going to change, but they're not going to change in the next couple of years.
Are you going to go back to the LA Ram? Are you going to do the blue and white?
Well, that'll be discussed by, I hope I have some say in it, but it's something that will probably, that discussion may have already started, but it takes time. It takes time to change that. So, I grew up out there as a Rams fan, so I'm a little partial to that. So we'll just see where that goes.
Jeff, thanks for joining us on short notice. We appreciate it. Good luck with the move.
Always good to talk to you. All right, thanks, Dan. Have a great day.
All right, that's Jeff Fisher.